Mark, good to see you again. 48 hours on from Tuesday, we've just spoken with Manny. He said that there's a real drive and determination within the squad in training. Are you seeing that yourself?
Yeah, very much so, and it doesn't surprise me. I think I probably mentioned it after the game the other night that I fully expect us to draw a line, obviously, under the result the other day and just move on. We've got challenges ahead, so yeah, I sense there's a real energy, not unlike we were leading into the Sutton game. Home games are always the ones that are always on the horizon. You always think, well, here we go, let's really have a go here, and yeah, we're looking forward to it.
A rare defeat, of course. Does it maybe sharpen the focus of the team to get them back on track?
Yeah, if we need that. I think the other night, from our part of view, we probably we just tried to force the issue in terms of the second half. The first half, I said at the time that we had enough chances to win the game in the first half. I think, on reflection with hindsight, if we had scored, I think it would have been a very similar outcome to the Rochdale game. I thought we just needed that opening goal. We didn't get it in comparison to the Rochdale game, and then second half we just tried to force the issue, went a little bit too direct, a little bit long on too many occasions when it just needed a little bit of guile, a little bit of probing, a little bit more play in the opposition half, sustained play, and I think we would have found a way, but wasn't to be. So, like I said, that one's gone. We look ahead to the weekend now.
Harry said after the game, and Manny's also agreed with it as well, that if you are to get into the automatic promotion places, they both feel that from these next 4 games, it needs to be 4 wins. Do you see it that way?
It could need that. I think we're aware of that. For the last 10-12 games, we've felt that we had an opportunity really to chase wins in every game we played from that point to the end of the season. That hasn't changed. We've had that mindset and that mentality for a long time now. We're trying to make it happen. We've slipped up obviously in midweek, but we're very much of the view that there's 4 games ahead of us that we can win.
I think as it stands, if you were to win all 4 of those games, with the Northampton game included as well, unless there was a huge swing in goal difference, that would put you in the top 3.
Quite possibly, yeah. That's what's ahead of us. We know exactly what we have to do.
Yeah.
Can we win 4 in a row? Yes, we can. It's up against good teams that will challenge us, but we'll go up against anybody. We'll back ourselves, and it's still very much in our hands, which is the key thing.
Does it help that the next game is at home and the atmosphere of late at home has been...
Oh, it's been great.
Yeah,
without a shadow of a doubt. I think on the back of Tuesday we're going to need everybody to really get us over the line, and yeah, recent home games and not all home games in fairness, but in recent times I just think maybe what we've been able to produce is very much absolutely tied to the reaction of the crowd, and every good player bounces off the reaction to that, and then you do more good play and then the crowd gets even more excited. So it's a two-way thing. We just got to produce on the day and make sure that we excite the fantastic fans that we've got. I mean, quite remarkable the support we've had this year. So yeah, the weekend we'll need everybody again.
That atmosphere that you've built now at Valley Parade, is that what you were searching for when you first came? I know you said right at the start when you arrived that you wanted to make Valley Parade somewhat fortress-like. Have you got it there yet?
I think we're very, very close to that now. I think teams come with more trepidation. Yeah, they'll hope to do well, and some teams come and really enjoy the experience and have done this year, but I haven't sensed that in recent times. I think there's a little bit of anxiety from opposition teams when they know they're going up against us. We've been in the middle of a fantastic run of results as well, so they know rocking up at Valley Parade that it's going to be a hard afternoon for them. So that's not always been the case, not only in my time but previous to that. So we've been able to build that, construct that, and make it a thing for us, and yeah, that won't dissipate from now to the end of the season. Certainly not.
What do you expect from Gillingham then on Saturday. It was a good result of performance from your side when you went there.
Yeah, I thought we played very well against them, and they found it really difficult to really affect us. We had some good goals as well. Cookie's goal was outstanding, the one when he just clipped it over the keeper. So yeah, good memories of that. Recent memories as well, wasn't that long ago. So yeah, I think that will help us, because Gillingham are obviously a good team, and their home form was exceptional, but we were the one team that was able to go there and take maximum points from there during that time. So they'll have healthy respect for what we can do. We'll just have to see. They had a desire game in midweek, somewhat, I would suggest, with the circumstance of the game. Obviously, they needed the 3 points. Lane Orient had absolutely nothing to play for, so it enabled the game just to peter out. It was quite bizarre, really. So maybe they'll had a little bit of rest, and they'll use that energy they did have to use in midweek to go up against us. I'm sure they will. Most teams do, but yeah, top of the ball. We're looking forward to what's ahead of us.
I think they're right up there with yourselves actually for points picked up since the turn of the new year. I mean, I guess that's a reminder of just
they're a good
what they
side.
can offer.
Yeah, and they've got good threats, good ability top end of the pitch. Whichever way they go more direct and hit the big guy. Or they've got good quality in and around it. So it's not an easy game. Not an easy game. We'll have to play well, as we always have to. But yeah, it's not a game that's beyond us. We can certainly win it comfortably if we do the right things.
It's quite remarkable that it's 2 games without a goal from Andy Cook, given what he's done this season. I mean, is that an area for you of concern that he's not found the back of the net in the last 2 games?
No, not at all. I think we've realised that, and he's not a streaky centre forward. He scores on a regular basis, and 2 games for him is viewed as a drought. Wasn't the case with myself. I was the opposite. I was more a streaky striker. I'd score 3 or 4 in a row, and then go 8, 9, 10 games without getting anywhere near a goal. But everybody's different. But I think everybody acknowledges Cookie is a natural goal scorer. Even if he starts missing chances or doesn't get as many chances to be able to convert, he's always getting opportunities. So because of that, there's always the chance that he'll get on a run again. So I wouldn't put it past him that he starts for the weekend.
I mentioned that we spoke to Manny a little earlier, and it was great to speak with him about how hard his season's been, but he's made that comeback now, and he's playing a part. How big a part does Manny Osadebe have to play between now and the end of the season for you?
He's played a big part right through the season, in all honesty, because of his personality. We haven't had him around the group as much as we wanted, obviously for obvious reasons with his injury, but since he's come back into the fold, he's been a real positive influence. Even when he hasn't been in the squad 18, he's always in and around the squad and encouraging people. And when he's actually in the matchday squad, then his influence is always positive, and that's credit to him. He's got a real strong personality, engaging guy, as we all know, and he's just pleased that he's been able to come back from a really catastrophic injury that he had on the first day of it, and to show the strength that he's been able to show gives him great credit. So yeah, we're delighted that first and foremost he's back fitting well, and from my point of view that he's absolutely a really good viable option for me.
Understandably, from the player's perspective, he's really eyeing a start or trying to get a start between now and the end of the season. From a manager's perspective, is that a realistic goal for him to have?
Oh yeah, I mean he's putting himself forward. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean he's getting off the bench at the moment, and he'll keep on pushing. Knowing Manny, as I've already said, his drive and his personality will demand that of himself. So yeah, that helps me, because I know that I've got a player that's really itching to be part of what we're doing, and has been for a long time now. So yeah, really pleased for him. You want guys like Manny to succeed in what they try and do, and his personality and his strength of character has enabled him to get to this point in the season and be available for his teammates and for myself, so credit to him.
Just on the team use front more generally, how are you going into Saturday, and more specifically, how is Brad Halliday?
Brad's okay, yeah. It's been a nasty virus. We've got a couple of the staff have gone down with it as well, so we're right to keep him away from the dressing room. It was a tough call because obviously he's been a big part of what we've done this year, but he wasn't well on the Monday. A lot better on the Tuesday, but until you actually play, you think you're okay when you've had 24 hours of illness. But I know from experience that actually playing a match on the back of what he had leading up to the game, it wasn't right that he played. He wouldn't have been able to take the levels that we know he's capable and the levels that we needed for the game itself. So it was the right decision. I thought Endo came in and did really well. Disappointing for him, obviously, because he picked up an injury, which is a real shame, because I thought, given that it was late in the day when I made the decision, he came in and gave a resolve, so credit to him. But yeah, so Brad should be okay. Harry Chapman obviously is out. That'll probably be his season now, I would imagine, given the injury. Rides is a little bit sore, where he's very swollen in the area around his nose and cheek area, so it's a little bit difficult. He went to see a specialist yesterday, but because of the swelling, they couldn't really confirm or whatever whether or not it's actually his fracture. It does seem like it is, but we have a definitive answer to it. But at the moment, we're looking at getting him a mask for the game, and we'll see how he is tomorrow, see if he's comfortable enough in that. Can he get through a game? We'll just have to have a conversation about that, but we've got obviously other options that can come in. Talaji's a very, very good option for me if Wright doesn't make it, but we'll see. I mean, he's up for it. He wants to give it a go if he can, but obviously tomorrow we just need to see if he's comfortable enough playing in a mask if he has to.
Is it a nose or is it?
Yeah, nose. It's fracture in the nose.
Finally from me, just understandably, all your attention is focused on between now and the end of the season and what might happen. Have you at all afforded yourself opportunity to think about planning for next season, planning for the summer window? Has that already started?
Yeah, there's a little bit of tentative discussions about next year, because you have to, because you can't leave it too late. There's an idea of what we need to do in two scenarios. You can imagine what those scenarios are, so don't have to discuss them. So yeah, it's planning continues right through a football season. It's always with a view to what's ahead of us, and those conversations, and some of them obviously need to be made, and we've started that process, but nothing definite yet.
Thank you, Mark. That's all for Saturday.
Okay, thanks, mate.
So, on the back of that question, Mark, I mean, obviously, if we become involved in the playoffs and obviously extends the season, does that make things awkward in terms of recruitment planning? Because obviously everything suddenly gets congested afterwards.
Quite possibly. We'll have to wait and see. Obviously, I haven't been involved. If that's the situation we find ourselves, I haven't been involved in that before. So I would imagine, if we're talking about player acquisition, I think that ebbs and flows a little bit. A lot of conversations you have really early. More often than not, you get conversations saying, "Oh well, depends on where you are, and if you're not in that position, then my player won't be coming to you." And then all of a sudden, towards the end of the window, all of a sudden, those same players start coming back to you. So it's not exact science. It ebbs and flows, as I say. And I thought we had really good windows this year. So if we get anything like the windows that we've had this year, then I'll be more than happy.
Obviously, with the injury to Harry Chapman, which is obviously a big blow, bearing in mind how well he's been playing of late. I mean, as you said the other night, you've got options. It gives you sort of various scenarios in terms of formations, personnel, doesn't it? There's a few choices.
Yeah. I mean, listen, if we'd have lost those players and we were a bit skinny in terms of numbers and quality, then it'd be more a concern. But that's why we've got the depth that we have to be able to compensate when really good players go out of the side through injury or whatever circumstances. We've still got really good options to come in and take up the slack. So that was something that we talked at length, as you know, at the beginning of the season, that we wanted that depth to go right from the start to the finish of a really hard season that we anticipated, and what we've experienced. So thank God for that.
And obviously, Dara Costello's not been in the squad lately. Is that just not being picked, or has he been injured?
Darren lost a little bit of confidence, and I've had conversations with him. I mean, he was just probably trying a little bit too hard, and I think that was affecting his confidence a little bit. So yeah, he's just gone out at the side of the mob. But like I said, he comes back into my thinking. He's trained really well this week, so I'm pleased with what I've seen from him. Looks like he's back in a good place again. So yeah, he becomes another option along with many others.
Obviously, you know, we're sort of joking about Andy Cook's two-game goal drought. I mean, knowing he is a confidence player, which you've spoken about in the past, have you had to have a word with him this week, just sort of to cheer him up a little bit after the last couple, after the debate?
Not yet, but I know what he's like. So yeah, it's how Andy is. You're not going to change him. He is a confidence player. He just thrives on goals, and when he doesn't score, he does get a little bit too hard on himself. But no, there's no concern where Andy's where he is in terms of his form and his ability to score goals for us. Changed very quickly. He's got that ability. Not many players at this level have. So we're grateful that he's with us.
It seems a daft conversation to be having, but it's nice to have it's so rare to have a striker on, you know, so many goals at this stage of the season.
Yeah, and I think it's just maybe it's not the fact that he's not getting chances, which is that'd be more concerning if he wasn't scoring because he wasn't getting chances. But there's a couple that's passed him by. But you know that in any game he's going to be more often not the guy that's going to have more opportunities than anybody else in our team. So you'd always back him to convert at least a few of them.
And in terms of the game this weekend, the fact that obviously Gillingham, you know, they now are safe, so the fact that their goal's done, but they're going to come here and have a go because they're almost like auditioning for next season, because I think they've got big ambitions for next year. So in a way, they're not going to come and park the bus, which is what you sort of that slogan
listen,
game.
we don't. No one comes to Falcon Road and just comes and makes up the numbers. They all come and try and impress, and maybe a few of them think that they can impress me, and maybe I have an inkling of maybe looking at some of their players, and I know for a fact that happens to a lot of the teams that come here, a lot of the individuals within those teams see what we've got at Bradford and think, oh, we might be a bit of part of that, and then go on and play out the skin. Yeah, so yeah, I'm sure that will happen, but yeah, it'll be interesting. It's difficult to see how these teams who are safe and theoretically you have nothing to play for, but actually the reality is a lot of individual players and collective players have a lot to play for. So I don't hold too much store by the fact they haven't got, as a club or a team, that much to play for.
I'm sure you're not going to answer it, but have you got your eye on any of their players?
I know, I wish I hadn't said that, but I was trying to make a point, I didn't make it very well, so no, I'll draw a line under that.